哈喽大家好，这里是 ismart 教育我是 Robert 今天呢我们要突击采访一位我们这里授课的老师，他的名字叫 Anna 那在这个采访视频里面呢，我们要问他一些问题，对吧？大家可能比较感兴趣一些关于教英语的一些，包括英语学习的一些问题，那么今天呢都可能会在这里问到。对，Okay, so Anna, could you please do a quick introduction of yourself?
Of course. So my name's Anna. I've been teaching English for over 25 years. I also teach French in a BC public school. And I'm very familiar with the BC curriculum and what is required for students to do well in British Columbia. So I have taught SAT, SSAT, I've taught IB English, AP English, and I also tutor students in grade 10 and grade 12 English specifically.
Yeah, thank you. So our first question is, what advice do you have for all the English learners? Do you have any strategies that you'd like to share with them?
So the first thing I usually find out when I'm working with a student is what kinds of materials they like to read. So reading is one of the fastest ways that we can improve our English skills, or in fact any language skills. So reading material that is short, but reading frequently, so preferably every day or every other day, for 20 minutes to 40 minutes, depending on what the student's comfortable with, but doing that regularly will really help to improve reading, critical thinking skills, and writing. So reading a wide variety of material is really important. So fiction and non-fiction. So the BC curriculum requires that students are able to analyse fiction. So that's poetry, short stories, novels, and the curriculum also requires that students understand articles and other styles of writing. So I often advise that a student will listen to and read a wide variety of different material, but something that they enjoy is also really important. So subjects that they're interested in.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, so we also have many students who struggle with writing. Do you have any strategies for them to improve their writing skills?
So some of the strategies I use in my sessions are, if I notice that a student is quite comfortable speaking, I will get them to explain what they're going to write about first, and then do a plan and then write it. So I find that works really well with some students who are quite comfortable conversing. That can really help them with their writing. Other things are planning. Planning our writing is very, very important. So often in class, we'll do a brainstorm, depending on what we're working on. We'll brainstorm some ideas together. We'll talk about vocabulary together, and then they will do a specific piece of writing. Other strategies I use are pinpointing particular grammatical and structural points. So we'll work on, let's say, avoiding things like run-on sentences and comma splices. We'll do a focus at the beginning of the lesson on a particular writing skill, and then they will use that then in their writing. Editing is also really, really important. Often at school, they don't get a chance to rewrite. So I always make sure that homework is aligned with what we do in the lesson. They finish the writing at home, they get the feedback, and then they rewrite what they've done. So they end up with a piece of writing they may have written 2 or 3 times, but eventually that student is going to be able to edit their own work. That's what my goal is as the teacher, because this is a lifelong skill.
Yes. it requires a lot of practice, right? Okay.
So those are some of the strategies I use. There are more.
Yeah.
Yes.
So having taught English writing and reading for over 20 years, what strategies do you use, or how will the students enhance their English in your class? Yeah.
So some of those I've already mentioned. I usually get the student to prepare some reading before class. So the previous week I give the homework, so the continuation of writing what they've started in class, and also to read in preparation for the next class. So let's say we're studying a short story. They have to read that short story before they come to class, because I don't want to be wasting time reading a lot in the class. So then they're ready to do some writing about that story. So things like vocabulary, looking at the piece of text, picking out words and saying, okay, do you know a different word for this same word? So increasing vocabulary in writing is very important. Many students struggle with vocabulary. So that's a huge part of the sessions. It depends what program I'm working. It depends if they're working on a particular exam. So let's say it's an SAT session. The writing skills are particularly being able to write persuasively. So we would work on writing persuasive argument. So I have particular materials I use, but a general writing book to enhance writing skills is this one. This is Refining Composition Skills. So academic writing and grammar. So one of the things I do in writing classes is go through the genres of writing. So that's expository, that's useful for social studies and English, creative writing, which is useful for English, and more factual-based writing, which is useful for science. So I try and teach writing as cross-curricular. So if they're in a writing class, they would learn specific writing skills. And this is a great book for grammar, for structure, for the different genres. When they get into grade 11 and grade 12 and they are doing research essays, that's another thing we might focus on for writing. So all the different genres are definitely covered, depending on how long the student stays.
Yeah, thank you, Anna, so much for your valuable thoughts and perspective in teaching. We really appreciate that.
You're welcome. It's good to be here.
Thank you,
Robert.
OK， 好，那么以上就是今天的 Voice of Teacher 老师之声的采访全部内容那么如果你有些其他的问题想问这边当地的老师呢，欢迎你在视频的下方呢记得去评论，然后我们也可能会根据你的一些想法呀或者一些问题啊，我们也去找机会去问到我们这边的老师。好，谢谢大家，拜拜。
拜。